this video we'll be discussing market segmentation, exactly how this is done and why a business should always aim to complete this process to have a greater chance of targeting potential customers. Even the very best marketing will not always appeal to everybody. Different products and how they are marketed will appeal to different people. What you want in a product is not necessarily the same as what your grandfather wants, and we will look at how marketing is used to target both of you individually but in different ways. Understanding both the similarities and the differences will allow you to specifically segment, or some would say split, the market into individual categories and to develop specific selling points which are aimed at all of them. And this gives you a greater chance of engaging each group in your product or service. So let's think a little more about exactly what market segmentation is and how it is done. The process divides the market into smaller categories based on demographic factors, such as their age, their gender, and their income. Instead of reaching an entire market at the same time, many businesses use market segmentation to really focus resources into targeting a specific group within that market. For example, aiming your product at rich customers, or poor customers, at old customers, or at young customers. It can be hugely beneficial to focus your attention on just one of these particular groups. However, keep in mind that many businesses will use market segmentation to sell to many of these different groups of customers. By dividing your market into smaller segments, each with something in common, this allows a business to use their resources and their time more efficiently. By better understanding their potential market, they are able to develop their marketing mix, which we will look at in another video, to position themselves with exactly the right thing in exactly the right place for exactly the right price. To all the teachers out there, show all of these videos without any ads and gain access to our growing library of over 500 teaching worksheets. Why not visit BizzWizard.co.uk to find out more? And there are so many different groups that a market can be split into that we won't be able to consider all of them, but we're going to look at some of the more obvious ones. Before we do this, let's introduce this video's main example. This is Josh Jennings, and he is one of the founders of Outcry T-Shirts, a huge online retailer stocking one of the largest ranges of T-shirts here in the UK. Outcry was founded back in 2007 by Josh and his best friend, who both wanted to be able to design and sell the coolest T-shirts along with building a successful brand. Originally, the site started out of one room in a shared warehouse, with just the two of them handling everything from answering the phone to picking and packing the orders. As the years have passed, the business has grown, and the team is now considerably bigger and positioned as one of the largest T-shirt retailers here in the UK. Josh would tell you that the key to their success was the ability to segment the target market and to appeal to a range of different groups. Originally, when they were first starting out, they focused on low-priced comedy T-shirts. They aimed to create designs that would put a smile on people's faces. They quickly realised though that they were missing out on a large number of potential sales by not catering their marketing towards other demographics, meaning groups of people. Here they set out looking at the possible segments that they could split their market into, and we will look at each one of these carefully. The groups that we will consider are location, demographics, behaviour, lifestyle, and income. Firstly, many businesses may choose to target their marketing based on the geographic location of the consumer. A very good example of this would be the fast food giants McDonald's. Although many of their popular dishes are seen across the globe, they regularly release certain burgers and sides that appeal to audiences in different countries. They offer a popular ginger fried pork burger in Japan, a tikka burger in India, and also do not sell the same popular breakfast items that we enjoy here in the UK in many other countries. As Outcry deliver their T-shirts across the UK, they never actually split their market into groups based on geographic location. However, if they decided to expand into, for example, the European t-shirt market, then they would need to rethink their advertising and even their product portfolio, offering tees that are more suited to the culture in these countries. So next up is demographic segmentation, and this method considers the characteristics of people. And these characteristics may include age, gender, race, religion, nationality, disability, ethnicity, sexual orientation, or even occupation. For example, age must be one of the most basic deciding factors of them all, but in some ways it is one of the most important, because consumer preferences continually change as we get older. This group can be decided based on a specific age range, for example 13 to 18-year-olds, or particular life cycle stages, like babies, children, or adults. And this was one of the first groups that Josh and the growing team at Outcry split their market into. They began to aim certain t-shirt lines at specific age ranges, such as cartoon t-shirts aimed at younger consumers, and a plainer style of t-shirt which they aimed at older individuals. And not only do age groups and generations differ in their buying habits, but also in how they respond to advertising. They tend to have different ways of speaking and language that they use. They may also engage with different platforms. For example, a younger audience may spend most of their time on Instagram and YouTube, while an older consumer may just prefer their email inbox. Another example of demographic segmentation would be targeting customers based on their gender. With some products, not many nowadays, a business may aim to market in certain ways to either male or female potential customers. Men and women in some cases have different likes, dislikes, needs and thought processes. However, it's more important than ever to be very careful not to assume gender stereotypes, such as considering pink a feminine colour and blue a masculine colour. Advertising with gender stereotypes like this could make your brand look slightly sexist and could cause you to miss out or even anger your target audience. And this is something that Josh and his team were careful to avoid. Of course, they have many different designs which are shaped specifically for women, but for the most part, they advertise their designs as unisex and see customers of both genders regularly purchasing the same styles and designs. Another example of demographic segmentation focusing on gender would be Coca-Cola, who famously tried to advertise Diet Coke specifically to women back in the 1980s. However, this backfired, and what they actually did was leave a perception in the minds of men that Diet Coke was more for women. And this was a costly mistake. As consumers became more health conscious, they realised that many men were not buying Diet Coke, and this led them to eventually release Coke Zero, which wasn't specifically aimed at either gender. Bring this video and over 100 more to life with fun, interactive games, quizzes and case studies. Why not try the first 25 completely free by visiting BizzWizard.co.uk. Okay, so what about behavioural segmentation? Well, this considers how people behave when it comes to making a purchase, possibly at different times of the year or maybe in different situations. For example, at Christmas, birthdays and other celebrations like Father's Day, people make purchases in addition to what they would normally buy. Greeting card and gift businesses thrive on these events all year round, while other businesses provide specific products only at a certain time of year, such as Christmas trees at Christmas and chocolate eggs during Easter. For Outcry, they often target customers based on these behaviours. During these specific times like Christmas, Halloween, Father's Day, and many others, they sell t-shirts specifically designed for these occasions. In fact, Halloween and Christmas t-shirts are particularly successful sellers for Josh and his team, and their ability to segment the market in this way has earned Outcry some significant profits over the years. Okay, next we will consider segmenting a market based on lifestyle. Here a business will take into consideration things like how customers live, what they do for a living, what they like, what their interests are, and even how they feel about the world. And this is where Josh and his team have used market segmentation most efficiently. When a customer first creates an account on their website, they are asked to complete an optional questionnaire of their interests and their opinions to receive a 10% discount on their first purchase. And this data is then used by Outcry to specifically target certain groups or segments. For example, they have many customers who regularly buy band merchandise and T-shirts. So these customers who make these purchases are stored in a special category on the database. And when new T-shirts are available that match their previous interests, they will receive a targeted email newsletter informing them of the new arrivals. And they do the same with customers who previously purchased comedy tees and those that are infatuated with Marvel comic merchandise. And these newsletters are a cheap but extremely effective way of targeting these specific segments. So finally, we will consider the option to segment your market based on consumers' income. If people can't afford your product or service, then there's really no point in targeting them. As an example, it would not necessarily be a good marketing strategy to promote a Mercedes or a Ferrari to somebody who struggles to afford their weekly bus ticket. And on the other hand, a great deal of success can be achieved by brands targeting consumers with a lower income by offering good value and a product that meets their needs. Examples of this may be the likes of Primark offering low-cost clothing or Lidl charging less for their groceries. If you decide to target a specific income range of customers, you may try doing this by selling different tiers of the same or a similar product. An example of this would be when you catch a flight, the purpose of the product is exactly the same, regardless of whether you travel by first class or second class, and you still need to fly from A to B. But the airlines target those with a higher income, who are happy to pay for the added luxuries included in first-class travel. Josh and the team at Outcry feel passionate about ensuring that they are able to keep their costs of production down and offer their T-shirts at an affordable price for those on both a high or a low income. Each of the video courses over at BizzWizard.co.uk also includes an interactive business case study that applies the knowledge learned to a real-world scenario. There are over 1,000 multiple-choice questions, each with detailed feedback, which tests students' understanding of the content. Why not visit BizzWizard.co.uk to find out more? So now that we have discussed a number of the important groups a business might split its market into, let's consider the benefits of doing so. Firstly, a business which is able to successfully target these specific segments will likely achieve greater brand loyalty, meaning customers will not purchase their goods from a competing business because they are loyal and they feel they receive a personal service from businesses like Outcry. And these customers are likely to be recurring, meaning that they come back again and again to purchase more goods. Don't forget, it can be extremely difficult and expensive gaining new customers from your competitors. So keeping the ones that you have happy is even more important and is a key to growing a successful business. In many cases, if marketing is successfully targeted at specific segments, then these customers will be willing to pay more. You have offered a personal touch and made them feel like you are keeping their interests in mind. And finally, all of these factors will hopefully lead to higher revenue, meaning more sales coming into the business. And if a business is able to keep their costs down while increasing the money that they are taking in, then this should mean that they are more profitable, meaning they're making more money. But as with everything in the business world, there are some disadvantages to segmenting your target market. For any business trying to target multiple segments, there are going to be additional costs. They will have to spend more on research and development to ensure that their targeting is successful. There is also likely to be a higher production cost as they are manufacturing a larger range of products, and there will be additional marketing costs as they try to communicate with potential customers in these different groups. Although having a varied product portfolio sounds like an advantage, it can in many cases be the opposite. As the product range increases, the business is not able to necessarily take advantage of what we call economies of scale, basically reducing their costs of production. It will never be possible to please all customers, but as we have discussed, you can divide a larger market into these unique segments and then target each one's needs individually. As Josh and the team at Outcry T-Shirts have shown, understanding your target market and being able to cleverly split them into groups can lead to unimagined success, allowing a small team of two best friends working in one single room to become one of the biggest T-shirt retailers in the country. Don't forget that market segmentation increases your chances of successfully targeting the right people with the right product, and it is an essential tool in your entrepreneurial toolbox. This has been the BizzWizard.